Abhinav, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for making time and talking to us about.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about your career. What have you done since undergrad?
Sure. So after undergrad, I went to McKinsey. I spent 4 years there. I left as an engagement manager. Came to business school to spend some time with you now. But I really wanted a change in my career. I was a consultant. I knew I wanted to move into an operational role, wanted to meet more people, get more exposure. After business school, I was a product manager at Amazon. And then for the last 3 years, I've been at Zynga, where I'm now a vice president and lead our Words with Friends unit.
Right. And you've, as I've been watching your career closely, you've blitzed up the ranks at Zynga pretty fast.
Well, I think I've been lucky, so it's important to be lucky, especially kind of when you have a growing company or a company with a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
You get a chance to have that.
So tell me a little bit about the kinds of people you've met in business school, at McKinsey, at Amazon, and Zynga, and what kind of a role have they played in your decision-making for different careers and in your rise more recently at Zynga?
Yeah, I think there's a combination of different people. I think there is a category of mentors. So obviously a lot of mentors at McKinsey, as obviously known as a firm for providing a lot of mentorship.
Yep.
Harvard Business School similarly has been very helpful in terms of giving you access to a lot of people, whether it's professors. So today I was at an event with Professor Andre Haji, whose course I took, and even 3-4 years later I remember and kind of wanted to follow up with him. Similarly, I think what's more interesting is even the role that classmates and other people can play. So for example, Chris Hahn, who is one of my good friends in business school, in fact a section mate of mine, is the main reason I ended up at Zynga.
Yeah.
So you talk a little bit about the career trajectory. Well, none of that would have happened if I didn't know Chris Hahn, if Chris Hahn hadn't come to my wedding and told me about how great a company Zynga was.
So you were recruiting at your wedding?
I was recruiting at my wedding. Okay. Come on, you have to do things that are useful at those events also. But and funnily enough, those are the moves that pay off, and I wouldn't have known about the company or how it was without Chris Hahn. So.
Yeah. So as you think about the role these kind of serendipitous conversations have played and the people you've connected with and known have played, how have you gone about expanding your network outside of institutions like McKinsey and HBS and other places? How have you gone about doing that?
To be frank with you, it's pretty hard. So I think universities are tailor-made for providing that level of eating, sleeping, spending all this time with people all around you. So it's very easy to meet. I think in the kind of post-business school, post-undergrad world, I think you start with your company. So obviously I have a lot of mentors at Zynga. I try to meet different people. I usually attend the new employee orientations to try to get a sense of the people there. And then beyond that, oftentimes just reaching out to interesting people. If there's somebody doing something interesting, I often see, is there some way I can spend 5-10 minutes with them, get a coffee.
Yeah.
Now, of course, time is the hard factor, and
right.
I struggle with that also. But that's probably the main method.
So what advice would you have to people starting out in their careers or people now looking at making switches around Silicon Valley in terms of building these kinds of relationships?
I think the biggest advice I would have is do as much of it as you can. Business really is a function, at least in my opinion, 50-50 about capabilities as well as who you know. I think we all know this, being at the right time at the right opportunity, and a lot of that is who you know. So my biggest advice would be make as much time for it as you can.
And now that you're at this position at Zynga, what are the kind of people that you're looking to meet personally, either to mentor them or to expand your own interests?
I like to meet people who are different than me. So I like to meet people who are doing engineering. So what are the new interesting trends there? What are the problems they're experiencing? What do they think the next 3 to 5 years are going to be? So that's probably the most interesting set. Recently I've been meeting a lot of graphic designers and UX designers because I think a lot of innovation where it was in business model is now going to come in that.
Right.
And really delightful products to use make a big difference. So those are the 2 areas I'm focused on.
Great. And from all of these meetings that you have with people that you otherwise don't know, do you learn things you can learn from a blog or a textbook?
I think maybe if you spend enough time reading the blogs and the right textbooks. But what's great about meeting people in person is you get context. You may not get the right context. You may not, you may have something in a blog that you really wish, well, I wanted to ask a follow-up question. And sure, you can be that guy who comments on a blog, but I guess I'm not one of those.
Right.
And so meeting in person kind of helps solve that problem.
Great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much.
Cheers.